Noob School.
Welcome back. Welcome back to the Noob School. We got some pretty jamming music today. A little Hollywood swinging. Trying to get music incorporated into the podcast, Capers, just for you.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Makes me feel special.
Well, you should be. So, Capers, this is episode 155.
Wow.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good. And I've been asking you to come for a while. This is not like I waited
Well,
till...
maybe episode 145.
So yeah, Capers is. We've had a lot of old friends on this show, a lot of them, and other than my brother Dan, who I have known longer than Capers, I think you're my oldest friend that's been on the show because we've known each other for. Do you want to say
Since
it?
seventh grade.
Yeah.
You came to Beck
Yeah.
for. Did you stay the whole year? I don't think you did. I think
You said I got kicked out of
you
school.
didn't. No. I think you moved on to greener pastures.
No, I moved here from Hartsville in seventh grade. And my
Right.
parents were trying to get me into Christ Church, of
Right.
course, and we couldn't get in.
Right.
They put me in Beck, and I had been in a place easier, or let's say more private than Christ Church. It was like nuns taught the schools. It was a Catholic school, uniform.
in Hartsville.
Yeah,
I
nuns.
didn't know there were any Catholics in Hartsville.
Well, there was some where I went to school, St. Mary's, and they said, "Well, just go to this little school for a while." And I
Right.
went there, and it was a damn jungle, man.
Yeah, it was
crazy.
It was.
People fighting.
Yeah, it was public school.
and- yeah. I
was-
didn't know what that was.
Yeah, well, you learned.
I
You
did
found
learn
out
quick.
quickly.
I learned quick. Well, I did. I tell you what, I always tell people, and again, who cares about me? But coming there and being like the babe in the woods. So many people like you, reached out and kind of recognized here's this new kid, doesn't know what he's doing, and you became friends.
Yeah,
I remember, John Collins
Yeah.
that way, and Jimmy Gullidge, and
yeah,
Andy Patrick.
yeah. Andy.
There were some really good people there that I met, and it was a huge advantage for me because I got to meet all you guys.
Right.
And then they went to Jail Man, Wade Hampton, Greenville.
We stayed the public track.
Yeah, you did. You did. And I went to the private school, so now I know people from all those schools.
That's right.
So it was kind of cool.
That's right.
But we somehow became friends, I guess, through basketball.
Basketball.
Yeah.
Basketball.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
And before we get to the meat of the call, there's some great stories. So we were, I guess, 13 or 12 or something, and there was this really pretty girl, and I won't use her full name, but I think it was Cindy something.
Okay. Cindy T.
I'm not, maybe Cindy T.
I think it was
Maybe
Cindy T.
And we both were just in love with this girl, and we're such good friends. We finally told each other that I think I'm going to get her something for Christmas or whatever. Next thing I know, Capers is on the way to her house with a present.
I don't
you
remember
beat
that.
me there. Yeah,
I don't remember
yeah.
snaking you. I don't remember
you
trying to.
snaked me because
I don't remember snaking you.
I told you what I was thinking, and you just went right on over.
Wow.
Well, I like the boldness though.
Well, it was young love.
It was
Young love, young romance. You
my
don't know
gosh.
how to react.
Well, you went on. I know you went on, and you had a good basketball life. Didn't you keep playing all the way through high school?
Played through high school.
Yeah.
Played at Man. Lucky enough to be on state championship team. And that means more to me today than it did at the time.
Right.
At the time, it was just, hey, cool, look what we did.
I know.
And all these years back, you look at that, and it really is probably the high point of my high school career.
Yeah.
Because that's the one thing that, as they say, they can never take away from you, right? You were part of the state championship team. You had great friends and players. You mentioned John Collins. He was on that team.
Yeah.
And Dexter Clinkscales. Excuse me, Brent Clinkscales.
Brent
Clinkscales.
Brent
I apologize.
Clinkscales,
There were several Clinkscales, but
Big
Brent was on
Bird.
my team. Big Bird, Curtis Hartness. Great guys. And Poochie Floyd. Poochie, the famous Poochie Floyd.
James
Poochie Floyd, who still, I think all those guys are in town. I know John is, Poochie is. unfortunately, Curtis Harkness passed away at a younger age. But yeah, we had a great run.
Yeah.
Would have loved to play college ball, but nobody seemed to want to give a 5'9" point guard that opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah,
Well,
great memories.
Yeah. Yeah. You had a loaded team and all good people too. I've stayed in touch with you, of course, and then John Collins
We stole one from you guys.
You did, but that's all right. Brent and then Brent also has. Someone said, "How's Brent doing?" I'm like, he's doing okay. He's on the board at Duke. I mean, I'd say his
Is he
career
really?
his
I didn't
career is
realize
pretty
that.
good. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So.
That's pretty prestigious.
Yeah. So he's done incredibly well in his law profession. Trying to get him on the pod.
You need to do that.
Yeah.
Jail Man just named the school gym after Ronnie Moore.
Really?
Yeah, they just announced that. So, and Coach Moore, I think, just had his 80th or 85th birthday. They had a birthday party for him at the Drive Stadium. And unfortunately, I was out of town and wasn't able to attend. But I had some of those guys had gotten in touch with me, let me know that was going on.
Yeah. It is funny though, particularly for most of our viewers are younger, business people, salespeople, and when you're young and things are going well, and something happens like you win a state championship, I think we think, well, we'll get this, we'll do something just like this next year too,
Right.
or if you sell a business or something, you say, well, we'll get a bigger business next year. You can't predict it.
Now, you don't really understand what the seminal moments are in your life
Right.
at that time.
Right.
You kind of appreciate them as you get older.
Yeah.
Because they don't come around.
Yeah.
You don't win state championships or start or sell businesses every year.
No.
It's something you have to work for a long time.
That's right. That's right.
No
Well-
such thing as overnight success, except maybe in Silicon Valley. But the rest of us,
Right.
you work for 20 years to become an overnight success.
Yeah. I tell people that the formula I see a lot of times, and this is under ideal circumstances, is someone gets exposed to and or educated in a certain area. And in your case, finance, I suppose. And then they get out in the world and they start to get experience in that area while they're working for somebody else. And they've got their antenna out for that opportunity that they can jump on. And so let's say now you're 32 or 30 or whatever, and you see it. Well, not only do you see a good opportunity, but now you know how to do something with it, right? Because you've earned it.
You think you do anyway.
Well, at least you're not like just out of college.
Right, you have some skills.
Yeah.
You've created some skills and some knowledge.
Network, and
and now you have an opportunity to apply it.
Yeah. So I think a lot of people think I'm just going to think of something really clever and make $1 million. And I've had some great ideas when I was younger, just wonderful ideas, but no idea what to do with them.
Right.
You gotta learn your craft.
No reference.
No idea what to do. So anyway, Capers a little ahead of ourselves as usual, but Capers has a remarkable business called MedFirst Staffing.
That's correct.
Had it since 2003. Golly, 22 years.
Yeah.
And he owns the business, runs it, and you do. I think it's remote nurses.
No, we're really in the contract labor business. So I'm sure if you read anything about the healthcare marketplace, one of the very first things that is always mentioned is the lack of clinical labor.
Okay.
If you look at almost any labor category, there is an estimated 15 to 25% gap in the number of those clinicians needed and the number of those clinicians available in the marketplace.
Okay.
And I'm sure I don't have those numbers, exactly correct, but it's a double-digit gap.
Okay.
So our company is pretty simple. It has a very simple business model. We contract with a variety of healthcare facilities, so hospitals, nursing homes, correctional facilities, behavioral health facilities, just a broad range of healthcare facilities to help them supplement their internal nurse staff.
Okay.
So what we do is we work with our customers to identify their needs. Then we go into the marketplace and we find a nurse that has the skills and experience to meet the needs of that customer, because ultimately this nurse is providing the patient care that they're responsible to provide. So I like to say that we don't have a close working relationship with our customers. We're intimate with our customers because we talk to them several times a day to understand their needs, how our nurses are performing. Do we need to make any adjustments to their schedules or their contracts? What additional needs do they have? Do we have any candidates? And so we've literally built this company, customer by customer, nurse by nurse. And as you said, we've been doing it for 20 years. And we kind of started off locally, and now we've expanded, and we service facilities from Virginia through Mississippi. And we have other customers outside that geographic footprint, but our primary customer base is from Washington through Mississippi.
Okay, so you're doing contract nurses, and your customer are hospitals, nursing homes, whatever.
Yeah.
Those are the ones you call on, and so you're matching it. Okay,
Yeah.
that's cool. And so when you started it in 2003, did you start it from scratch or did you buy something?
I bought something.
Okay,
So I was in the private equity business.
yeah,
And we sold that to Transamerica, and the concept was that we were going to use their capital, our expertise, and we were going to grow this private equity business under the Transamerica umbrella.
yeah.
And that lasted about 6 months, and then Transamerica was sold. So the corporate was sold,
Yeah.
and the purchaser was a Dutch insurance company, and they wanted nothing to do with commercial finance. They wanted the insurance assets. So they didn't shut us down, but they basically said, we're going to sit on what we got,
Yeah.
and we're really not investing anymore in this business. So at that point, writing was on the wall, and our group kind of slow at first, and then it everybody just kind of there, exited for other opportunities. And I didn't want to leave Greenville. It was kind of an interesting time in the financial services business because the internet bubble had burst. And people found out.
I remember.
Well, people found out pets.com wasn't worth $1 billion, and furniture.com
Or
wasn't
$1.
worth $1 billion. Yeah. I started talking to people and really took the skills, talking about skills and experience that I'd learned in the private equity business, and really applied those to my search. If I wanted to acquire a business, what did I want that business to look like? Well, first thing I wanted is something I could understand, because I'm not technical. I didn't want to develop anything, invent anything. Something that didn't have significant capital requirements.
Right.
Something that wasn't going to be offshored. So kind of got attracted to healthcare. What opportunities existed, and labor became pretty obvious.
Yeah.
This is a need. This is a market. It's actually a multi-billion-dollar market in healthcare staffing services. And I found a little company here in Greenville that was doing it. And the lady who started the business had kind of taken it as far as she really wanted to take it, and it was really kind of a one-person operation.
But they had a customer.
Had a customer base, had some nurses.
Yeah.
I didn't like the fundamentals of the way her business model, but by buying her, it gave me the credibility of being in business.
Sure.
So I could go to customers and say, "How long have you been in business?" "Oh, I've been in business since 1995.
Yeah.
So okay, so we use that platform. I like to tell people I bought a startup. I didn't know it at the time, but that's what because we had to build all the processes. We had to really rebuild the whole employee pool.
Yeah.
We had to kind of replace the customers, but it gave us a platform.
Yeah.
So so we have over time, developed a pretty significant number of employees and customers and facility locations that we service. But one thing I quickly learned is I didn't want to be selling this an hour at a time, day at a time, shift at a time.
Yeah.
We wanted to sell it for as long as we could.
Yeah.
We wanted to put that person in and have that individual as part of that facility for as long as the facility was willing to allow that person to be in there.
Do you have a buyout if they want to hire your person?
We do.
Yeah.
We do in some. It's typically driven by the number of hours worked.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a sliding scale.
Yeah.
So if you buy them out day one, it costs you a lot. If
Yeah.
you buy them out after 6 months, it costs you a little or nothing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a win-win.
But I love the idea. We talk about this some on this podcast. Is so many people think, what you've done is a startup. They think even what we did at DataStream is a startup. DataStream wasn't a startup either. We bought a little software company. It was doing like $300,000 or $400,000 a year, going nowhere. And we bought it and then had to change everything. But we had customers,
Right.
renewal money coming in. We had a code. We had a few employees. I mean, that's a lot easier than me and you in a room with a whiteboard.
Sure. Yeah.
And trying to go from there. So I always encourage people, if they find something that they like, an industry, an area, maybe it's smart to buy something small. Start small and bring your idea to it.
Yeah.
So
If you can identify it, that's
Yeah.
the challenge.
yeah,
Is trying to identify something
Yeah.
that appeals to you.
yeah. And I think, again, I have not had a perfect career by any means, and neither have you. I mean, perfect. In my mind, a perfect career is you've always loved medical staffing since you were a child, and you helped your mother run the medical staffing business that she owned, and you went to a school that's the medical staffing school, and you interned for those people, and so everything is kind of going in that direction, and then your whole life you've been doing that. There was no emergent, there was no other things.
Right.
It was like this one direction, and
Wouldn't that be boring?
well, I don't know. I mean, it would be if you did the same thing, but if you think about, let's say, the nursing business, it evolves over time. So if you're on the forefront, let's say you're in the television business, it's changing all the time.
Sure.
Or running Facebook. I mean, every day is different. So I think if as long as your business is growing, I don't think it's boring. And I used to think that at DataStream was, God, I can't believe I've been here this long.
Right.
But well, hell, last year, we were buying companies in China, and this year's we're on the internet.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's always different. So, but I do like that you started with. You really, what you learned during your PE time was not nursing; it was how to buy and run those kind of businesses.
Yeah, and also how to distinguish between a good business and a bad business. Right?
Yeah.
I quickly learned that I didn't want to be in a business where I walked in the door with no revenue.
Right.
Right? That was the old model I bought. So it was a very short term.
You start over at zero every month.
You start. I told somebody it was like being in the produce business, right? you didn't know what you had,
Right.
and if you didn't sell it that day, it didn't get, it went bad. So I quickly learned that I wanted to be in a business where I could create a recurring revenue stream. And so that's why we determined that long-term contract or open-ended placement was much more appealing to us. And frankly, it solved our customers' problems better because they weren't having to schedule somebody every day to try to fill that shift or staff that unit. That individual was trained. They knew the patients. They knew their fellow clinicians. And it also gave them a steady paycheck. So it really was, a win-win. But, so, yeah, the experience I had with PE, kind of figuring out what was good business, what was bad business, what were some of the things I liked, just didn't like, helped me, apply that thought process to my own acquisition of a company. Now, then when you got into it, all that kind of went out the window because now you're now I'm actually having to run this thing.
Yeah. Real numbers.
Real people, real numbers. And the things they don't teach you in business school, is that, all the personal issues that you got to deal with.
Yeah.
So you don't count on the car breaking down.
Yeah, and we didn't mention, but after Clemson, you did go to business school at Emory, right?
I did. I worked for Sunoco Products in Hartsville.
Did you get your business degree while you were doing that?
No. Okay. I had worked for Sunoco for several years and had a great experience. Had worked in a couple of their divisions in Atlanta, and then I was actually part of the marketing group that helped them introduce the plastic grocery bag.
Okay.
So Sunoco got into the plastic grocery bag business. I don't think they're in it any longer. And I had a great experience traveling the West Coast up into Alaska, introducing these plastic grocery bags.
Yeah.
Going into stores and teaching the checkout staff on how to use one of these grocery bags. And of course, they didn't want to use it. They didn't like it.
Right.
Customers, were very reluctant. But anyway, they eventually, adopted those things. And then came back to the Carolinas and had a sales territory. Sunoco's a great company, but, I just want to do something entrepreneurial. And figured that the best way to do that was probably go back and get some skills that I didn't have. I would my thought was, I'll acquire these over time, but the more efficient way to do it is go back and learn those in a business school setting,
right,
and then get out and hopefully you're ahead of the pack.
Yeah, and so how did you pick Emory?
Well, I wanted to stay in the South, and so I looked at what I thought were the 5 best business schools. I looked at UVA, Duke, Chapel Hill, Vandy, and Emory. And they were all nationally ranked. And I think Emory now is actually top 15 because they got a bunch of money. And applied and got waitlisted at Darden, got in Vandy, got in Emory, and I can't remember if I probably didn't get in Duke. So and Emory pitched me on the fact that that they were going to create a great business school. That they were in the premier city in the South.
Yeah, I mean, they're in the epicenter of business, that's for sure.
And they had all kind of resources, and they were going to build a world-class business school. And so I bought it and ended up going down there, and it had a great experience.
Yeah. Well, that's great. Probably all those would have been a great experience.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it's good to have 5 choices where all of them are correct.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I couldn't go wrong with any of them because they were great schools, great brands.
Yeah.
So
So Clemson, then Sunoco,
Yep.
I mean, they're probably the packaging leader in the world. I mean,
One of them.
yeah,
Great company, great people.
great company down in Hartsville.
Never moved. Now, they've talked about it, but
Did they really talk about it?
they
That's
talked about
interesting.
it. Moving to Charlotte and I think they looked at probably Charlotte, Atlanta for recruitment purposes,
Right,
executive recruitment
right,
purposes.
right.
But for some, but they've always elected to stay.
Yeah,
And I think it has to, it's a lot of. They got a lot of roots in that community.
oh yeah. Yeah.
And I think that would be a very difficult thing for them to
Yeah.
do, and it would hurt South Carolina.
Yeah. Did you run into Gerald Toney? You met Gerald
Heard the
Toney?
name. I certainly heard the name.
He would be right in your same age.
Okay, I know his name. But
Gerald
I don't
was
remember meeting him.
well, he was a Citadel grad. He was my basketball teammate
Okay.
and also the quarterback on the football team.
Oh wow.
And one of my best friends. But the funny thing is, every year, he'd be the star quarterback on the team. And a basketball season would start.
Mm-hmm.
The football season was winding down, and so I would start. I'd be one of the starters on the team.
Yeah.
And then football would end, and he would slowly get back,
work
and
himself
then
into basketball
The
shape.
coach would inevitably call me in. He's like, "So, you're doing great, John. You really are doing well, but we're going to start Gerald from now on."
Oh no.
I said, "Why? We think we have a better chance to win with Gerald."
Oh, wow.
I'm like, "Well, I really learned from that coach, Les Robinson,
Yeah,
because at
that's
least he told me the truth.
Yeah.
What if he
Yeah.
just kind of was mealy-mouthed about it?
Yeah,
Because we got a
yeah.
better chance to win with Gerald."
Right.
Well, I mean, you do get to make the decision.
Yeah, they're paying you to that.
Yeah. Well, you should. Yeah, he's retired now.
From Sunoco.
From Sunoco, he stayed the whole time.
Good
yeah.
for him.
Yeah, he ended up running a bunch of plants and just a super guy.
Does he stay in Hartsville or did he go?
He moved to Memphis.
Really?
I don't know why, but he moved to Memphis a long time ago. He's
Huh.
been operating out of there. So yeah, he's in Memphis.
I've never been.
So, after coming back here, getting a sales territory, decided you wanted to get your MBA. You got your MBA, and that's when you went to work in finance and
Yep.
emergent in those groups.
Yep.
Okay. What's one of the things that you learned about this whole process of going from I want to be successful, have my own business, to you're actually here now? What's one of the great lessons you could pass on to our listeners?
Well, it doesn't happen overnight. I mean, that's the first thing
Yeah.
that you better understand.
Yep.
That it's a long, hard road.
Yeah.
You have to be committed to it. You're going to make mistakes. You need to learn from those mistakes and adjust. Because I thought that what I would do, my original business plan was to consolidate a bunch of medical staffing companies and in 5 years sell them and go do something else.
Yeah. This is something else, right? This is it.
Yeah, but what I learned as I got into the business was I enjoyed it. And it was never the right time to take on capital. Because originally I was too small. It was going to take too much dilution. So if I can grow, then the cost of capital would be less. And over time, we became more successful. And then the appeal of taking dilution to go buy businesses left. I no longer had any interest in that. So I think you have to be committed. You have to be flexible. You have to understand that your plans are not going to work as you envision them. You need to, you need to be ready to change that. Hire the best people you can afford.
Yeah.
Because what I have learned is that every business comes down to two things: capital and people. You can have the greatest product, but if you don't have the people to execute it, you're going to fail.
Right.
If you don't have the capital, you're going to fail. So hire slow, fire fast, hoard your cash, because you never know when the market's going to change.
Yeah. It does change.
And when you have opportunities, make sure you take full advantage of those opportunities.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of stuff.
No, it's all good stuff.
But
good
it's
stuff.
kind of the things that kind of the lessons I've learned over time.
Yeah. And so to get that first business, did you just work out some deal with the owner? Did you just buy it outright yourself, or how did you do that? How did you structure that?
Actually, I had a partner. It was an industrial staffing company that wanted to get into the medical space, so they helped me finance the purchase. A year later, we kind of came to the mutual, understanding that they needed to invest in my business. I needed their business, rather. I needed to invest in my business, and so I ended up, buying their interest out. But that's how I did it. I had a third party that helped me with the original acquisition, and then after that, I used the cash flow of the company to finance
Everything.
everything.
Yeah. I think that's another misconception people have, and it kind of drives me crazy, but someone will ask me, say, I want to have my own business or whatever, and I'm like, well, if you buy a business that's doing this and so on and so on, well, I don't have $1 million. I'm like, well, you might not need it.
Right.
There's clever ways to do things,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
might get an investor. I mean, who knows? But I think that, again, I love what our startup community is doing here in Greenville, but I'd like to see a community around buying businesses,
Right.
Because my dad, I don't know how many venture capital things he did or stuff that you even helped him with, but he's told me that the bulk of their success was companies that they bought, Modern Office Machines,
Sure.
and a couple
We have
other
proven
ones.
businesses.
Right.
One of the things that when I talk to startup businesses, and I'm not as involved in that as I know you are and some others are, but the first thing I ask them is, do you got any revenue? Do you have any customers? Who are you going to sell this to?
Not yet, Capers.
Yeah, not yet.
Yeah.
Or, and how close are you to break even? When will you get to break even?
So hard.
I don't get a lot of good answers.
I know, it's just so hard.
It is hard.
I mean, golly, I don't think we could do it.
Well, you got to, the other thing, other lesson that I've learned is you better figure out what your competitive advantage is.
Right. Why you?
Why you?
Yeah.
Or what's important to your customer.
Yeah.
And you better make sure that you're delivering whatever product or service it is that they want.
Yeah.
In my case, it's pretty simple. I need a clinician that can help me care for these patients. Because at the end of the day, my job is to care for these individuals, to provide the healthcare services expected from these individuals. And if I don't have enough staff to do that, I'm not going to be in this job very long.
Right.
So ours is pretty clear
So
cut.
would you say yours is, like, if I have a nursing home in Knoxville, that you have the qualified nurses signed up with you that you can deliver, that I could never go find and sort and go through all that stuff?
Well, you could, but if you've got 25 patients that you're supposed to be taking care of,
You need them now.
you need them now.
Okay.
You don't need them next week. You
Right.
need them now.
Okay. So instead of like letting the HR go through their process and
HR might be going through the process, but HR, hadn't been able to source the nurses they need, or maybe HR needs approval from somebody.
Yeah. You just give them.
I just give it to them. I give it to them. That's my competitive advantage. My competitive advantage is I can deliver you a nurse today or tomorrow to help you solve your clinical staffing shortage.
Yeah. Do you do anything with the nurses that move around a lot?
We do some, but we don't do the pure travel.
Okay.
I mean, pure travel is I pick you up in Greenville and I send you to California.
And they might
And I pay for your housing and everything else. And I don't do that. I much prefer to find local nurses for contract positions, because then I don't have to deal with their housing or any other relocation
So why
issues.
would a nurse deal with you to do this versus just saying, I'm a contractor available for hire, and letting everyone know, or trying to get a job there?
Well, there are nurses that do try to do the contract for hire, but then you've got to market yourself. You've got to have, in theory, you're 1099. You have your own corporation.
Yeah.
You know, there's just a lot more.
You're a salesman now, a marketing person.
You're right. Yeah, you're right. When that job is up, you're starting over, right? You're starting over.
Versus back in the pool.
Versus
with you.
in the being offered, consistently offered a variety of job options. You got to go find your job, and then you got to make sure you've got your professional insurance and your workers' comp, and you're paying your taxes, and you're doing everything you're supposed to do as a corporation.
Right.
A lot of people get in trouble because they don't do that. So that's the short answer of why they would choose to work for me as opposed to doing it independently. Why they don't go to work for the facility is a lot of times it takes the facility longer to hire a permanent employee than it does to bring in a contract employee, because they know they can terminate the contract employee and have no liability. Right? They've got it from me. It's my employee. And if they don't work out, they can terminate them. If it does work out, they can negotiate rolling them to their own staff. And we have a lot of people that were hired by us, put into facilities, and now they're in a position of management, which, obviously helps us from a relationship standpoint. They're not going to hire me because of that, but they're certainly going to.
It's not going to hurt.
It's not going to hurt me. It's going to help with at least my ability to have a conversation.
That's good. So you're helping both sides of the equation. And I've used recruiters before, but it's usually when I'm like in a hurry.
Right.
Like I really need some programmers to do this thing, and the guy gets my what I want, and he looks in his database and he says, I can have them here tomorrow.
Right.
And if you don't like them, send them home at the end of the day.
Right. Right.
Okay, that's better than 3 months of looking and interviewing.
Well, what's your skill set? Everybody. What's our skill set? Well, our skill set is being able to source, screen, credential, and staff clinical labor. That's all we do. You are a developer and marketer of software products. Is your skill set sourcing, screening, and hiring programmers? Well, no. It's what you have to do in order to build your technical capabilities, but it's not what you do on a day-to-day basis.
Right. Yeah.
Well, it's what we do on a day-to-day basis.
Right. That's perfect, because we like to build our team and hire our people, but when we're in a pinch or in a hurry, we'll contract, and we'll contract to hire. That's our way to test them. So, what about AI? How is that affecting your business at this point?
It's affecting our business from a recruiting perspective. They're not going. The good news is AI is not going to replace what we do.
Right.
Or if it does, it's a long time before that happens. But where it's affecting us is it's a tool that we can use to better source potential employees.
Okay.
You know, we can go, instead of going in and going through LinkedIn or going through Indeed or going through various resume databases trying to find people with the experience and skills we're looking for, we can go, AI will do that for us. Mm-hmm. And then it'll consolidate it, and then we can go through, and they'll actually rank the candidates for you, and then we can go through and, you know, find people for various opportunities.
What's your favorite tool?
Well, we're kind of in the process of determining which one we want to employ.
Okay.
There's several in the recruiting space.
Mm-hmm.
We've always been a big user of Indeed,
Mm-hmm.
and Indeed has got some AI capabilities, and we're trying to better understand those.
Mm-hmm.
But the most immediate impact that we see AI having on our business is in the recruiting, the locating, identifying, and qualifying of candidates.
Okay. Yeah. Well, it's going to be a fun ride the next couple of years.
Well, it's certainly interesting.
Yeah.
Luckily for us, we don't see any job losses.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's the main thing.
Yeah.
Hopefully it just helps you, you know, grow your business faster, do it for less money, you know. It can be a real advantage.
Well, I don't know. I'm not a technologist. Again, I'm a user.
Yeah.
Can it make us more efficient? Can it help us, respond better to our customers' needs? And if we can, we'll use it. And if it doesn't, we're not.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's an amazing technology. You know, I've been in this business since school, really, and this is one of those things that comes around, you know, every so often, like the home computer, or the internet, or the phone. This is one of those four things. So, I'd recommend to everyone spend a little time on it every day. You can ask it to do anything.
Oh, wow.
It's amazing what it'll do for you. So, I like Grok, Grok. That's the one I use.
Okay.
Which is the Elon Musk version.
Okay. And what does it do for you? What do you use it for?
If I'm gonna put together a presentation,
Okay.
it takes about 3 seconds.
Oh,
if I'm
wow.
gonna write an article, it'll help me with the first draft.
Okay.
If I want to do a quick business plan on an idea, 10 seconds. I mean,
Really?
it's just unbelievable. Yeah. I'll show you when we're
And
done.
it goes out and locates sources that have done these things, and it will
Yeah.
aggregate's not the right word, but it collects that data for you and puts it in a form that you ask it to put it in.
Yeah, so the easiest way to explain, like if I was going to do, let's say, a presentation, and I said, I'm going to do a presentation on how we can coach your sales team to grow revenue 50% this year, and I put that information into it and said, give me a 10-page or 10-point PowerPoint. It would immediately go search, YouTube and Google and all these different internet sources to try to find people building those kinds of things.
Right.
And then it would put together, seconds later, this thing, and I could look at it and I could say, make it 75% longer, make the bullet points more descriptive, and make sure to double check this or that or whatever, and then new version. You just edit it on and on. So it's like you and I have some big business, and we say, get some of the staff in here. Capers and I have an idea about this thing. Go look it up, do some homework, build it, bring it back to us in a week.
Right.
Well, it takes a minute to be finished.
That's amazing.
So it's definitely worth playing with. It's just going to improve and get better over time.
What's it called? Which one do you use?
I use the one called Grok, Grok.
Grok.
It's a sub-menu of the X.com platform.
Okay.
But most people use ChatGPT.
Yeah, ChatGPT. That's one I'm familiar with.
I think they're probably very similar.
Okay.
But is there anything else you want to say to the
viewing public?
the fans out there?
No.
You want to talk about your
anything.
damn beating Christchurch in basketball again?
Well, we did steal one.
Well, you won. But congratulations, you've had a great career so
thank
far,
you.
and
Thank you.
you
I
seem to
appreciate
still
that.
like it a lot.
I do like it.
Yeah.
I enjoy it. It gives me a purpose.
Yes, it does, and you want to keep building it.
I do want to keep building it.
Yeah. You don't want to just go to the club at like 10 o'clock on Tuesday.
No, I don't want to hang out in the card room.
I tried that once. It's no good.
I don't even know who's in the card room.
I don't even know if there is a card room anymore.
I don't know if there is either or not. They might turn it into the.
I was scared to go in there when I was a kid.
Yeah, well, probably for good reason.
Yeah, I know what's going on in there.
Yeah, no kidding.
Well, again, thank
you
for
for
coming.
including me.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
Of course, and we'll get you back once a year. We'll do an update on what you're up to.
Okay.
And
well, I hope I'm still in business. That's the first goal is to make sure you can go back tomorrow.
That's true. You do want to make sure that happens. But I think you will be. I think you'll just keep steadily improving the business, and can't wait to hear more about it.
Well, thanks for including me. I
All right,
appreciate
thank you,
it.
man.
Yeah, man.
All right.
All right.
All right.